Some landlords will fix your leaking pipe in 30 minutes, while others will ignore a collapsing ceiling for 90 days. A tenant in Chicago spent 6 months mailing rent checks to a dead man before discovering a bank was using a computer script to evict her. Between these two extremes lies a hidden tax system that dictates where you sleep and whether you will ever own a home. At the center of this system is a single mathematical formula adopted in 2004 that quietly decided how much your rent would go up this morning. First, you must meet the people who actually knock on your door. It usually starts with the sound of a rusted pickup truck pulling into the driveway on a Saturday morning. This is the DI Handy Landlord, who views professional contractors as a personal insult. Instead of hiring a plumber, they will spend 4 hours in your bathroom with a roll of gray duct tape and a tube of cheap caulk. Most structural failures are resolved by painting over black mold or adjusting a single screw on a sagging door. Their ancient tools and questionable methods are always accompanied by a reminder that they saved you money by doing the work themselves. These amateurs mean well. Nonetheless, you still sleep with a plastic bucket next to your bed. Then there are the owners who never planned to own rental property in the first place. The accidental landlord typically inherits a family home or moves in with a partner, leaving them with an extra property. Local housing laws confuse them, causing immediate panic every time you call about a broken appliance. Your presence represents a temporary custodianship of their childhood memories. During drive-by inspections, lawn health receives far more attention than the actual plumbing. Apologies are constant. Eventually, the property goes on the market, leaving you with a 60-day notice and a box of leftover packing tape. Nervous confusion is nothing compared to the deliberate silence of a different owner. In older cities, you will find the old school landlord who bought their building in 1975 for the price of a cheap car. Because you pay a fraction of market rate, they view repairs as a personal attack on their retirement fund. Ignored texts are standard, and they might suggest you relocate if you want a working heater in December. It's a war of attrition played out over decades. While you wait for them to sell the building, they wait for you to get tired of the cold. Neither of you will yield. If that battle of wills sounds exhausting, consider the landlord who sleeps 10 feet away from your bed. Enter the house hacker, a young professional who read a personal finance book and decided to let strangers pay their mortgage. Living in the upper unit allows them to monitor the trash bins and listen to your television. Every interaction in the driveway is a disguised inspection. Questions about your job security are disguised as friendly small talk in the driveway. Friendship is their goal, yet they will still raise your rent to cover a gym membership. It's roommate tension disguised as a business relationship. Yet even a hovering neighbor is preferable to the landlord who wants you gone entirely. The short-term flipper views your home as a temporary hotel suite that's currently underperforming. Cheap furniture and gray vinyl floors fill these units, designed to wear out in a year. Tourists paying 3 times your rent in a single week are preferred, leaving the building with a constant rotation of rolling suitcases. If you're a long-term tenant, they will offer you cash to leave or refuse to renew your lease to prepare for lockboxes. Neighborhood communities are ignored in favor of optimizing algorithmic yield. While the flipper watches the lockbox from an app, the out-of-state landlord might not even know what state your building is in. Often, the absentee landlord exists only as a signature on a lease and a P.O. box in another time zone. Because they hired a property management company, you must deal with an automated phone tree just to report a gas leak. Management blames the owner for denying funds, while the owner blames management for letting the building rot. You're caught in the middle of a corporate loop. Resolutions arrive as generic emails from a shared inbox, signed by a representative who doesn't exist. A slow response from a distant owner is actually a luxury compared to the deliberate neglect of a slumlord. Neglect is built into the business model, extracting maximum rent while spending $0 on maintenance. Vulnerable tenants face constant eviction threats to keep them silent about freezing winters and leaking sewage. Should the city issue a citation, the owner simply pays the small fine and ignores the order to repair the building. Housing becomes a resource to be mined until the walls collapse. Desperation fuels the entire operation. Financial panic drives another class of owner who lives one missed payment away from losing everything. Easy credit and online courses promising passive income created the over-leveraged landlord. Buying a dozen properties with almost no money down, they use the rent of one building to pay the mortgage of the next. This makes them a walking financial disaster. When interest rates rise or a single tenant stops paying, their entire empire begins to shake. Pleading for early rent payment becomes common as necessary repairs are delayed due to maxed-out credit cards. You realize you're renting from someone who is actually poorer than you are, despite their name on the deed. Believing that every landlord is a predator is easy, until you meet the rare exception. Rare owners view housing as a partnership. Reasonable rates and proactive repairs define their management style. Good tenants who maintain the property are valued far more than $100 extra a month. Most of these owners live nearby, Unfortunately, they represent a dying breed. Private owners are disappearing because they can't compete with massive corporations. Corporate giants bought up whole blocks after the financial crisis. Recall the mathematical formula adopted in 2004 by a former airline analyst named Jeffrey Roper. He'd previously built software that helped airlines coordinate ticket data to keep fares high. He brought that same logic to housing. His new algorithm collected private data from competing landlords to recommend the maximum rent possible. Roper explained that the system was designed to remove empathy. It prevented leasing agents from offering discounts to struggling tenants. Today, massive institutional firms use this software to manage hundreds of thousands of homes. Coordinated pricing is the result. Occupancy rates matter less because the code reveals that empty units are more profitable than lower rents. An automated cartel now dictates the market. Report a leaking sink tomorrow, and you might get a friendly neighbor with tape or a PO box in another state. More likely, your request will travel to a server farm in Texas where computer code determines the price of your shelter. Should the program decide that your home is worth more without you, the system will print your eviction notice without a human ever looking at your name.